and the Muslim scholar, and try to keep on from there. The Kuzaris respond, and so on. Okay, so let's first read again. So it's number 5, page 62. Okay, you have the books? At least each pair.
Number 5 starts with the Kuzari said to the Christian.
No, 62, page 62. The Muslim said.
There, okay.
Okay.
The Muslim said.
Okay. Any volunteers reading? Yes.
The Muslim said, we uphold the beliefs in the unity and eternity of God, that the world is God's creation, and that all men are descended from the first man, Adam. We reject the possibility of corporeality in God. If you find anything in our literature, the Quran, that seems to indicate otherwise, we will explain that those passages are written metaphorically, to bring certain esoteric ideas closer to man's grasp. We further believe that our holy book is the word of God, and that indeed the wondrous text itself proves this. No mortal could ever write a book such as ours, nor even a single sentence, such as those in our Quran. We also believe that our Prophet Muhammad is the last of the prophets, and that his teaching supersedes all doctrine that preceded him. He calls to all nations to convert to Islam. The reward after death for one who follows Muhammad is the return of the soul to the body, which will dwell in the Garden of Eden. Such a person will lack no delight, food, drink, women, and all that his soul desires. But he who rebels against Islam will descend to a never-ending fire, and his suffering will last forever.
Okay. So, on one hand, similar to Christianity, they're talking about creation and that all human beings are. What was this? Okay, that's later on. Okay, so that there's a creator, there's creation. That's a common thing. Okay, but then when he wants to distinguish the Islam from Christianity, okay, he says.
Talks about Muhammad superseding all that came.
No, before that. Okay, one other thing is the common thing with Christianity, as I said, one is creator and creation. The other is that all people are descendants of Adam. Okay, but then in order to distinguish Islam from Christianity, he says we reject the possibility of corporeality in God. Okay, so that is to distinguish in a very say clear way. Okay, we're not like the Christians. And then further on, the ultimative proof. Okay, the ultimative proof that for their religion, what does he rely on? According to the text, what does he rely on? What's like the ultimative, prove evidence that they're the true religion?
That Muhammad is the last prophet.
No.
And no human could write the Quran.
Okay.
That the Muslims are the majority religion and they're the caliphate, etc., etc.
No. Read inside. What you said is not mentioned here in the text. Okay, he says, we further believe that our holy book is the word of God, and that indeed, okay, the wondrous text itself proves this. Okay, so and then what's the how can we convince or how can we prove that that's the truth? since no mortal could ever write a book such as ours. Okay, not even a single sentence such as those in our Quran. Okay, that's it. I rest my case. Since no human being can write such a book, and that's a proof that this book is a word of God, and that's it. And I don't have to argue anything else. Okay, that's what he says, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Later on, he mentions the fact of prophets. We talked about that last time. That there is no importance, there's no value to prophecy and prophets in Islam altogether. But since the Jews and the Christians claim that there is such a thing, then we must claim that we have one as well, and he's better, and he's the best, and he overrules any other that were previous to him. Okay, but otherwise there is no meaning and importance and value to prophecy at all, and to prophet in specific. But since you have, then we have, and ours is better, and he overrules and superiors any all doctrine that preceded him. Okay, so that's the bottom line. Okay, so remember we when we wanted to compare with the Christianity and Islam, we said so Christianity is representing between the two attributes, characteristics of love or kindness and fear and judgment. What does Christianity refer to? Okay, so to kindness, to love, right? And Islam, okay, judgment, fear. Okay, and we said that those characteristics are representing their mentality, their culture, and then their whole atmosphere, their deeds, their what they call commandments are also referring and linked to that. So, or at least that's what they claim, and they have maybe the ambition to behave regarding that. Okay, it doesn't mean that practically that's what happens, but in practice, but at least they claim that that's what their purpose or their goal is. Okay, then we if you remember, I gave you we talked. I was trying to translate to you last time a source from Rav Kook, where he's discussing the Christianity and Islam, and stating that basically both of them are considered idol worshipping, although Christianity is halachically really idol worshipping. That's why it's forbidden to visit in a church, okay, or in a mosque, and with Islam that halachically won't be forbidden. But all in all, spiritually, the Islam is also considered. That's how Rav Kook defines it. He calls it spiritual idol worshipping. Okay, where they, bottom line, they leave the God as a concept, as a human concept that you can comprehend, you can limit in your human world, and you give it place and space and time. Yeah.
Why does the Rambam permit for Jews to do tefillah in a masjid, in a mosque? Why is it, according to him, mutar for us to pray?
Again, because it's not literally, as Christianity, considered idol worshipping.
So Abdul Zawah is a spectrum.
What's your question? What do you want to?
Yeah, is it Abdul Zawah is not? Is it
I said so. Halachically, physically, it's not. Rav Kook says spiritually it is, because spiritually it is limiting and putting God into a human perspective or concept.
Only in an ideological way.
Yeah.
Why spiritual?
Yeah.
Because let's say their temple, place of worship,
Mm-hmm.
none of it is actually built with the idea of idol worship, or this is God, or
Right.
this represents heaven.
Muhammad actually apparently smashed idols when he made the Kaaba.
So this is all to support the idea that going to that place is not the same as going into a church, right?
Right. Okay. All right. Any more questions about this? No? Okay. Okay. Basically, so those commandments that they have, the purpose of them is not to elevate the human being, is not to bring him closer to God, rather to make him more, to limit him compared to God, to make him smaller, make him give in this world, so he can give space and for God to be bigger, to be more say expressed, maybe. Okay? Later on, when we'll talk about the Jew and we'll see the idea of mitzvot in Judaism, we'll see that there's it's a total new and different perspective of and meaning and value of the mitzvot. Okay, so that's okay. One point I wanted to emphasize. We talked also, if you remember, about the reward in the world to come. Okay, which is all physical, meaning in this world they need to, let's say, try to narrow as much as possible the pleasures in the physical world, and then don't worry, since you suffered so much in this world, in the world to come you'll have all these physical pleasures that you had to refrain from in this world. Okay. Okay, this I don't remember if we talked last time. We said that in Christianity, the when the church ruled the world, the say academic aspect and science was on pause, was stopped. Okay, because it was like limiting and narrowing the opportunity for the world to develop on the intellectual level. Okay, the church was like ruling everything, and whenever there was any, say, spiritual or threat from science that would contradict whatever they believe in, then immediately they would eliminate that threat, literally, as you know. Right? Familiar with this, right? Yeah? Okay. But with the Islam, it's interesting that in the beginning, when it just established, when it's just taking off, science had a big place, and with math and all those aspects were expanded and developed very, very much. Okay. Besides the point that it also had to do with in the sake of the religion, meaning if it was navigation, if it was math, it was calculations, it was all to, okay, how do we get to, if it was Mecca or whatever, how do we get there fast and as soon as possible and in an easiest way? So science was like a tool, an instrument to increase and develop the religion. But later on, it's like they realized that all this developing of science and technology, there's no value to it. There's no need for it anymore. There's no this world here, the physical world, has no meaning and value at all. So therefore, and it gives this desperation. So let's refrain from it altogether.
You're talking about the rise of technology, or you're talking about
Yeah.
for religion?
The Muslim religious countries and states, the ones that really are strict with their faith in Islam, then you see that they will be very primitive. Okay? The ones who you'll find that are modern, is maybe because they found a loop how to bypass this conflict, but otherwise, then they won't be able to develop technology and all that because it is contradicting the whole foundation of their faith.
What's the addendum to Judaism, though? Because
What is what?
Like, what's the difference in that respect specifically? What's the difference to Judaism? Because also Judaism, right? Like, if the whole purpose is to be studying Torah, then there's not really a need to be. I mean, also you see this in the Haredi community. Very few people
What you're referring to in the Haredi community is not representative of Judaism. It's representative of the exile, the galut mentality that we were narrowed to the ghetto of survival and following the minimum of mitzvot that we're able to during that time. But if you look all together in Judaism, then and you'll see our sages. Pops up right away Rambam. Okay, there's a doctor, he was an astronomist. He had big knowledge in general wisdom and philosophy. Okay, so you see.
The same be said for like the Islamic scholars, the early Islamic scholars. Most of them were also like mathematicians.
That's what I said. I mentioned that in the beginning, but then later out it faded away. And
that's what I'm asking. Like, isn't it the same? Like,
no, because
also they experienced, right? Like, let's say like the colonialism in the 19th century, and so like now their current anti-technology stance is really a response to that. In the same way, like the
reactionary.
In the same way that like our response to Galut was also the same. That's why I'm asking. What's the?
No, so I'm saying, and the say the roots of their belief is to give in to God, and meaning I have to limit myself in order to give to Him place. And if I develop and more, it is like saying I don't need you, and there's no place for you, and it's only me here.
And it's different from the idea of like bitul.
Yeah, because in bitul, it is where, and later on maybe we'll get to it, but bitul is saying, and it's so you can there are books talking about this. I can't. It's very hard to summarize this in one sentence, but bottom line is, obviously everything is from Him, and everything you have to give credit to Him, but it does not take away me as an individual who lives here, has free will, and takes responsibility for his choices and for good ones or negative ones. Okay, where in Islam they call it like al-maktub. Okay, it's all destiny, it's all written. So if a person was born to a specific family and destiny took him that way, that path, he has no free will to make a change. That's the way it is, and that's it. Okay, that's completely what opposed to what we believe in. Person falls in the street. Okay, he's dying. Okay, that's al-maktub. That's his destiny. He has to die. You don't interfere. I'm saying pure religion. Not saying that's what people.
But what if his destiny is to be saved by someone? I mean, we also believe, right, that Hashem knows everything that will happen, even though we have.
But we, with our free will and with our effort, you don't know what Hashem is planning for you. Right. You have what's in front of your eyes, and your effort to do whatever you can with your power to save, change, or whatever.
How does Judaism reconcile the determinism and the free will?
I'm saying that's a whole lecture. It's not in 1 minute that I can answer this now. It's a very important and good question. Hopefully we'll find time to answer it, but it's taking us off track altogether now from our topic. Okay. Thank you. All right.
Kuzari responded.
What
I think that's what we're up to now.
again?
After the Kuzari responded.
Yeah. We're getting there. I just want to see if there's any other important point I wanted to add here. Okay.
So just to clarify, so I understand.
Yeah.
So Islam is about negating yourself, or one part of Islam is negating yourself so there can be room for God to be big,
Right.
and that makes it so that you're not gonna. Islamic communities a lot of time didn't develop them, take the responsibility, personal responsibility
Right.
to develop themselves with science and
Right.
technology, even though they had a certain basis of mathematics.
Right. I want to make it clear that they did not and what was the word for it? It's they developed. They didn't like discover. Okay, like when we say there's a, if you don't know the algebra, right? That's from the word in Arabic al-jabar, big, but it's not that they invented it. Okay, they just developed whatever knowledge was previous to them. Okay, so you don't. It's not giving them credit, like overrating credit. It's like fine. Okay, there's respect for whatever they developed, but they didn't invent anything. Yeah. Okay, let's go into number 6. Yossi, want to carry on?
The Kuzari responded, if you want to prove that God exists and that God communicates with humans, and the person whom you are attempting to convince is a non-believer, then you need to begin with an account of famous miracles that are irrefutable. Only then is there a chance that the person will believe that God communicated with man. You claim that the wondrous text of your holy book proves the existence of God, and that this can only be appreciated in the original Arabic. That may be so, but for a foreigner such as myself who does not understand Arabic, this proof is meaningless. You can read the Quran to me all you want, but I cannot tell the difference between one Arabic book and another.
Okay. What is he saying here? What's his? Is he answering? Is he asking a question? What is?
It's kind of rebuking the idea altogether, because
Mm,
the Muslim has told him that our book is proof,
right.
and obviously from context we're seeing that the Muslim idea is that you can't fully understand the Quran unless you're reading it in its original language,
Right.
which you could say already is limiting itself. But
Hmm.
Do we say that about the Tanakh, the Torah, in regards to Hebrew?
yeah, we translate it anyways, and
So do they.
we do everything we can to understand it, don't we?
You know, Muslims also translate the Quran into other languages.
Translated in Urdu.
No, it's a I don't think there's a difference there in terms of.
The
I mean, if you
that
really want to discuss the Quran, then you have to understand Arabic of the Quran.
But if you really want to discuss the Torah, you have to understand the Hebrew. of the Torah.
Is it? But in Judaism, it is accepted that you talk in English like we do and discuss it, and that there is not such a thing as there is a higher level. If someone speaks Arabic, and you have to listen.
And how do we know?
But also, I mean, if two Talmudim who only ever learned the Torah in English and who only spoke English and who understood no Hebrew were speaking with each other, and then along came a third who had read the Torah in Hebrew, wouldn't the third be the most
But
knowledgeable
he
on the
will not
topic?
discuss their authority. The two scholars you mentioned in
Yeah.
English, the Hebrew guy will not discuss the authority of those two English guys.
So it's the nature of the hierarchy of authority in
There is
Judaism.
an
Islam
hierarchy.
is
In
different.
Islam is an hierarchy. And, okay.
Thing is, even in English though, if you do start with the basic level, from there you can already start seeing that it's pretty impressive when you read it. That there is things that predate certain concepts that we've been developing over time, have been in the Torah, as you translate on a basic surface, predates thousands of years. Or am I making things up?
Well, I mean, can you give like an example?
Well, what's the Bible, okay, the Holy Bible, is also the foundation of Christianity, right? They rely on it.
Right.
It's translated, right? Okay, so that itself already is
Their understanding about the Bible is
true,
different.
right? I agree, but I'm saying,
I like to talk about Tanakh.
yeah, and I agree that their commentaries are problematic, as an understatement. But yeah, but I'm saying all in all, it's translated and they're relying on that same source. Okay, and I'm not saying again that it's the ideal. Okay, obviously the original language it was written in is the ideal of how to deal, to study, to discuss the text. But here, according to what he's saying here in this paragraph, then it's like it's impossible to truly understand the book unless you speak Arabic.
Mhm.
Okay? Yeah.
I'd like to just do
Yeah.
let's just in Hebrew.
Yeah.
Basically, I think the issue, I'm missing what he's trying to say. What I think he's trying to say is with the sentence, the person who we were trying to convince a non-believer, they need to begin with an account of famous miracles that are irrefutable.
Yeah, we're getting there, but okay. Okay, so what do you want to say?
I was going to say, I think what he's refuted is
Right.
what he's saying is that, like, in this article, it's not about being in Hebrew or being in Arabic.
Right.
We had Mount Sinai, we have a revelation to the world, everyone knows about it, and now you're telling me that some angel came to talk to
Muhammad,
Muhammad in a cave,
right?
And we're supposed to accept that in a language we don't understand.
Right.
And that's the point.
Absolutely. We're getting there. Okay, so but back to just with the language. Okay, so what's her name again? Matania. Okay, what Matania said is the focus. Okay, is there, not with the language. Later on, their commentary is talking about this, that basically the Kuzari is saying is, even if I knew Arabic, it still wouldn't impress me and convince me that this is the ultimate truth, relying on what's written in there. Okay, meaning the language is not the issue. Okay, it could be a barrier, fine. But even if I knew Arabic, then that won't be the issue. There's something beyond that, and that's what Matania just mentioned, is Kuzari is coming from a secular philosophy concept. He has trouble of believing altogether that there's a creator and that he revealed himself to humans, and that there's a possibility of having an interaction between the infinite one and the finite people. How is that possible? That's the $1,000,000 question, which no one has an answer. How is that possible? Okay, so for him, as a very intellectual human being, okay, for a very intellectual human being,
I allowed him learning with the rabbi.
so okay, for him, it's impossible. How can you explain? How can you prove to me that there was, or could be such an interaction between the creator and a human being? And if you're trying to prove this to me and to convince me with this book, even if I knew Arabic, I dismiss it with all the respect. That's not proof to me. You want to prove it to me? What does he say here? What is his criterions to prove that such a thing is possible?
I need something irrefutable, something that's an act of God, let's say.
In other words,
A miracle.
okay, I need a miracle that was demonstrated to who?
To him.
Okay, but if it was only one individual, that's again a problem, because then it's you claiming that you saw. Okay, I want something that was demonstrated to who?
Many people.
Many people. Okay, if this was something that was demonstrated to millions of people, then it will be very hard to try to state against it, to contradict it, to claim no, it never happened. Okay, it's like the Muslims today. okay, even now, okay, are claiming the Jews never had a temple on Temple Mount. Okay, now that's part of their culture. Okay, that if you tell a lie enough times, then people believe it that it's true. But it's claiming just for claiming, the sake of claiming. There's no evidence and proof behind their statement. It's just a statement. Okay. Okay, so the Kuzari is demanding here, saying, listen, I'm an academic, intellectual person, philosophical person. I want irretrievable evidence or prove whatever to show me that what you're saying, and not even regarding you as a Muslim, but just in matter of fact, as a general universal statement, that there is evidence in this world that God, the Infinite One, revealed Himself to this low world and these people. Okay, that's the statement. That's the rebuke here. Okay. Now let's see number 7, paragraph 7. What does the Muslim have to respond to the Kuzari's rebuke? Yes. You want somebody else who tells
The wise Muslim responded, "Our prophet did perform great miracles. However, knowing the story of these miracles was never necessary for acceptance of our religion."
Okay. From this answer, from this response, did the Muslim scholar understand what the Kuzari is asking from him?
Yeah.
He did?
Well, he understands that the Kuzari is asking him for miracles. He's saying, though, that in order to become Muslim, I think you just have to say 3 times, right, that you accept God as your... There's a statement you have to make 3 times. I don't want to make it, but there's a statement you have to make 3 times.
Don't say it.
He's God, Muhammad is son.
And he's saying that since that's all you have to do, that he it seems doesn't have the knowledge of these miracles to relay them.
Okay, anybody else?
So
Yeah.
it basically says
irrefutable, like it's not irrefutable. It only happened to one person, so you could just claim that there were these miracles.
Okay.
basically says that
As Christians.
I think what he's trying to sway him from is that it should be more important the message of the religion than the miracles behind it, because that if you say your religion is false, not that I'm going straight into attacking it, but to say you're coming from a position where your religion is false, if you have to rely on miracles, which there are none from your side, then you want to rely on something else. You want to rely on
all right.
you.
But okay, so all what you said is correct, is true. You wanted to add something?
So I want to say, he basically says you don't need there are miracles performed, but you don't basically need miracles to believe in Allah.
Well, right.
It comes to the point, though.
What?
It comes to the point, like the idea is, he's asking why would God communicate with man, and telling me that Muhammad performs miracles to completely miss the point.
Right.
I think it's the issue.
So, we're trying to understand if the Muslim understood the Kuzari's rebuke or question or demand for proof. Okay, and he's saying, there's no need for miracles. We don't need that in order to believe. But he didn't understand where he's coming from and what he needs. Saying, okay, in your religion, we don't rely on miracles as a proof evidence for to confirm that the religion is valid and true. Fine, but I'm not there. I'm not there yet. I'm way behind. I want proof in general that there's communication and that God revealed Himself to people. And you're stating, there's no need to rely on miracles. Okay, so is there another way to prove it to me? Okay, so it's like you didn't get my point, right? So that's why in number 8, the Kuzari is trying to emphasize to clarify what he's talking about. Anybody else want to read instead of Yossi? If Yossi's tired? Yeah, sure.
The Kuzari said it does not make sense that the Creator would communicate with the mortal without there being some supernatural phenomenon accompanying the experience. This would be the only way to prove that it was really the Creator communicating. Furthermore, the supernatural effect would have to be a public spectacle, so that the adherents of the religion would see it with their own eyes, instead of having to believe an account of it from their prophet. This way, they could believe the communication without any shadow of a doubt, and without questioning that perhaps it was the result of a rich imagination or black magic. Only then could we hope that these people would accept such a concept, that the creator of this world, the world to come, the angels, the heavens, and the constellations, would attach himself to this lowly corporeal creature, man, and further, that he would speak to him and fulfill his requests and desires.
Okay, so now he clarifies what are, in his eyes, the criterions to convince a secular, intellectual individual, and even then it will be very difficult to convince, but maybe then he'll be convinced that there was such a interaction and that he revealed himself to human beings. Okay, so something that was demonstrated in front of masses of people. They all witnessed it, and they can't deny it. They maybe even contest it to figure it out if it was magic, if it was a delusion. Okay, and then they'll say, okay, there's no intellectual, scientific way to explain this phenomena that just happened here, and we must claim that probably, most likely, it was God himself. Okay, so that's like the criterions, according to the Kuzari, to convince maybe that such a thing is possible, but everything that you just mentioned in Muslim, with all the respect, are not convincing and will not hold up to the criterions I'm asking for. Okay? Okay, we have like 2 more minutes. So any questions up to here? No? Okay. Okay. Later on, we'll focus on these criterions, and we'll see if Judaism is referring to them, if that's the criterions according to Judaism. Okay, we'll see that later on. But at least to now, that's what the Kuzari is looking for. Okay, it doesn't mean now that that's what Judaism is representing. But up to now, the Kuzari, with his encounter with philosophy, with the Christian scholar, and soon enough he's going to dismiss the Muslim, he gained some stuff and he dismissed some things. Okay, so from the philosopher, he gained that we should never give up on the intellect and logic. Okay, we always should look and test things logically, as far as it's possible. And from the Christian scholar, what do you think he gained from there?
That God communicates with man.
Okay.
Because the philosopher, he denied that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did he dismiss from there? Or okay, let's go back with philosophy. What did he dismiss?
Logic plays no part in your argument. Anything logic.
No.
That was the Christian one.
Yeah, I'm talking with the philosopher. What did he dismiss?
Well, the philosopher basic statement was that God is an existence outside of say our physical reality,
Right,
and never has any connection.
Right.
To
Okay,
God.
so obviously,
So that makes no sense because it means that both are self-reliant, and then therefore God has no need for creating the physical world
right,
in the first place.
right. Okay, so obviously he dismissed that perspective. Okay, and with Christianity, what did he dismiss? So he gained that there is a communication between God and human beings, like David said. But what did he dismiss? As Yossi was starting to read from the text. Okay, why did he claim that with Christianity it doesn't make any sense and contradicts any logic? Okay, because he was relying on that fairy tale that God became human. Okay, and then there's no difference. God and human are the same, and
That's where we started.
yeah, so that doesn't make sense. Okay, a virgin became pregnant and all that fairy tale, so that doesn't make sense, right? And
that Christianity is not logical.
Right. Okay, so he has our time with that, and so okay, I dismiss that. But okay, with Islam, what does he gain from here? Dismiss. Well, we will not get into that yet, but
he gains an aspect of that. To believe, sometimes you also have to see it with your own eyes.
There must be some supernatural event happening in front of many, not in front of one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There needs to be some sort of interaction with them in order for it to sustain any proof.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll stop with that.
It must be understandable for everybody, and not like in one book in one language. No,
not to limit it to that. Yeah.